For years, the narcissistic abuse recovery space has flourished in the algorithm, but failed in the clinic. Platforms became flooded with sympathetic faces, affirmations, and storytelling, but little structure. Survivors were handed language but no framework. They were told what happened, but not how. They were seen, but not mapped. Even those who referenced Professor Sam Vaknin, often quoting his concepts verbatim, failed to engage with the depth of his message. They took the vocabulary, they ignored the theory, they adopted his terms, but bypassed the truth. Survivors of narcissistic abuse do not merely need empathy, they need ego reconstruction. Vaknin's contribution to victimology is not aesthetic, it is structural. He named the shared fantasy as a psychodynamic contract, the five energetic phases of narcissistic relating: object cathexis, hypercathexis, hypocathexis, decathexis, and anticathexis. The collapse of object constancy as the trigger for symbolic annihilation. The internal maternal split of the narcissist as the transferable structure. The bad interjects, inverted bonding, and Hoover dynamics that create addiction, not to a person, but to a fantasy. These were not metaphors, these were mechanisms. They were blueprints for collapse. But the recovery space did not build on that blueprint. Instead, it became a feedback loop of shared hurt with no diagnostic spine. MPIT begins where Vaknin's work demands we go next. Mirrored psychic inversion theory, MPIT, is not a reaction to this failure. It is a continuation of Vaknin's demand for structural clarity. If Vaknin mapped the inner world of the narcissist, MPIT maps the survivor's collapse within it. And this is the missing lens. MPIT does not offer hope. It offers a symbolic diagram of inversion, a clinical language for what happened to the survivor's psyche when they are subsumed by the narcissist's inner architecture. It does not offer journaling or affirmations. It offers diagnosis. Collapse is not a feeling, it is a symbolic inversion. Survivors are not just wounded, they are inverted. MPIT names this process and traces it through four collapse engines, each one triggered by the narcissist's energetic withdrawal. Gaze collapse, the moment the narcissist gaze retracts, decathexis, the survivor's symbolic existence dissolves. The collapse of recognition is not emotional, it is ontological. The ego itself enters derealization. Collapse induced psychotic regression, CIPR. The sudden severance of libidinal and maternal bonds trigger a regression into the child's self, mute, affectively dysregulated, and cognitively disconnected. It mimics psychosis but is structurally symbolic, a flooding of unmet primal terror. IMRA, inverse mirrored reflexive apathy. This is the death drive mechanism. The narcissist reflects apathy, cold empathy, and emotional blankness, which the survivors mirror reflexively. Meaning collapses, and the mirrored loop terminates agency. Orbital collapse. The survivor fragments into rotating internal parts, each one orbiting the narcissist now internalized structure. The false protector, the mute child, the inverted mother, the redeemer, and the central ego becomes blocked, unreachable behind interjects. MPIT reveals that survivors do not walk away. They remain inside. They live on in the Hall of Mirrors, now housed internally. The failure of the recovery industry. The dominant models in the recovery space are formulaic: go no contact, reclaim your worth, set boundaries, practice self love. These are necessary, but they are not sufficient. They do not explain why the survivor cannot leave even when they know they should, why the pain deepens after discard, why the healing itself feels like self erasure, why no new relationships feel real, why they continue to speak to the narcissist inside their own head years later. The survivor is not stuck because they are weak, they are stuck because they were structurally re authored. MPIT refuses false hope. MPIT does not romanticize collapse. It does not offer a linear arc of recovery. It does not pretend that boundaries restore the self. It acknowledges that the narcissist's internal maternal split becomes the survivor's psychic map. The survivor becomes the narcissist's mirror and their mother. The survivor's libidinal hunger is replaced by the narcissist's own. The survivor's speech, affect, and even perception become inverted. This isn't a toxic relationship, it is a symbolic transposition of identity. Input is not about feeling better, it is about seeing what happened. Why Empit and Vaknin matter. Together, Empit and Vaknin provide the only complete symbolic model of narcissistic abuse and its subsequent collapse in the victim. Vaknin maps the inner world of the narcissist, how they bind, invert, and discard. MPIT maps the survivor's structural collapse and how that world becomes their own. Recovery is not possible until the survivor understands they are not leaving a person. They are extracting themselves from a structure built inside them, a structure that spoke with their voice. MPIT tells the truth. It names every internal part. It charts the symbolic annihilation and offers a path to authorship, not affirmation. And it does so in full, unwavering allegiance to Sam Vaknin's original diagnostic spine, because he did not flinch, and neither will I. Peace out. Loads of love.